Hi, I'm Javier. I'm 28 years old. I'm an American Sign Language interpreter. I've lost a total of 187 pounds. And welcome to my bedroom. At my heaviest, I weighed 400 pounds. Losing that much weight has made me feel like a new person. It truly has changed my perspective on life and has made me realize a lot of values that I need to have to continue living this lifestyle. Food was very my priority, so I'll go to places depending on what they offered. And now food is not my way to take out my emotions or my energy. It became not important in my life, which is really strange because I used to, food was so important to me and now it's not. Now it's like working out, that's the most important part. There was many light bulb moments that made me change my life. Every year in New Year's, it was always my New Year's resolution to lose the weight since I was 12. And every year I never did it. Last year I made the decision to actually follow up with my New Year's resolution. It didn't happen at the beginning of the year, it actually happened halfway through the year when I realized that if I continue the lifestyle that I had, I wasn't going to live that much. I knew that by the time I reached 35, I was going to be dead. When I was heavier, I didn't have any medical issues, which I'm very thankful for. I did get a checkup, a full body physical when I first started my process, my journey. And they did realize that my liver fatty was really high. I think the numbers were 349 when they're supposed to be 49. A year and a half ago and now, I am a different person. I've come so far and I realized the strength that I do have. I put myself or portray myself a certain way to kind of hide my emotions, hide my feelings. I always was aware of how I wanted other people to, how I wanted to become across. And I realized that by letting go of my insecurities, I've changed. It made me become more comfortable with my own body, not just physically, but also spiritually and mentally. And that was one of the hardest things to do. So I've gone back to school, which is challenging, but it's not impossible. I mean, if you can lose 109 pounds, you can get your BA. I've also, not only that, but I've been so comfortable that I've actually exposed myself, not that way, but I'm able to do stuff that I normally wouldn't be comfortable, such as being on stage and dancing like a twerk queen. I would never, ever would that had happened if I was at my heaviest point. Another exciting part for me that a lot of people don't realize is that I'm able to go on roller coasters. And that was one of those moments that motivated me to continue and push myself harder. Being able to go at any theme park and just be able to go on the ride, sit down and go click, click, click. Yes, was one of those moments where I'm like, I look back and I'm like, because the last time I was able to ride like a scary roller coaster wasn't, oh man, I was like 13. And at 13 years old, that was the last time that somebody told me, you don't fit, you need to exit the attraction. Ooh. I've never remembered not being heavy. Since I was a kid, I've always been heavy. And even with my process, and even though I see the numbers, I sometimes still consider myself a heavy person. I still sometimes say to myself, you're a fat person. And it's not until recent, this like past month, that I realized I'm not. I started doing a lot more spiritual stuff. I started meditating. I started telling myself, like, you are skinny, you are beautiful, you are where you want to be. Because I feel like a lot of people lose their weight, but because their brains don't change, then they go back to how they still see themselves. So if you're able to change how you see yourself in your head, then you're able to match your exterior. Skinny does not equal beautiful. What's beautiful is it's how comfortable you'll feel in your own skin. Because there's people who are 300 plus and feel comfortable in their own skin. That's beautiful because you're able to show that energy. But there's other people like myself who was 300 plus and I didn't feel comfortable. And so that wasn't for me, wasn't beautiful, because if I'm not able to love myself, then how can I show that to others? I fear gaining weight every single day of my life. Every day is a struggle. That chocolate bar I see, I have to think and I analyze it. What I started doing in the past few months is, if I see like a chocolate bar, or if I notice like my cravings are kind of going really off, I'll stop for a moment, I analyze myself, and I realize, am I really hungry? Or am I feeding my emotions? So rather than me eating something that's not good for my body, I will take a walk. I will listen to music or call my friends. Just distract myself from that moment. And then as time went by, I forgot about it and then continue. There are moments that I do cave in. There's moments where my inner fast still says hello. And I do eat, and I do have my cheat meals, or my cheat days, or my cheat weeks. But that doesn't stop me. I just take that as a pause, like a little break, and then I continue moving forward. I started going to a weight loss clinic, and that has been one of those moments, very important moments, actually very important decision I made. By going to those weight loss clinics, a lot of people say it doesn't work. A lot of people look down upon it. For me, it was either that or get surgery. The way I view obese people right now, honestly, I don't judge them at all. I actually view them as somebody who is struggling within. Because I view myself, every time I see an obese person, I see myself in them. I see their struggles, even though they don't share it. And somehow I understand now when people who lose weight go up to like chubby people and like, hey, have you tried this product, or have you thought about doing this? Because you want them to feel comfortable. And for me, honestly, my goal, or what I want to do, is to tell anybody who's obese, be like, it's possible. You can do it. It's not my business to talk to them at all. I feel like you have to find it within yourself. That's the most important part. No matter what products you take to lose the weight, no matter if you get that personal trainer, the most expensive surgery, whatever, you have to change within, and you have to make that decision. If you don't make that decision, no matter what the outside, the exterior, anything you do, it's not going to change. It's not going to work in the long run. It might work short term. And that's why a lot of people lose, like, oh, I lost 20 pounds. And they're like, yay. And then 6 months later, they're like, oh, I gained those 20 pounds plus more because they didn't change what was inside. Being thinner hasn't changed who I'm attracted to, but the people who I find attracted find me attractive. When before, it was in reciprocal. It was just me finding them attractive, and then they're like, okay, cool, friend. But now it's like, oh, I find him attractive. Wait, he's looking at me? Is he flirting? Like, now I'm to a point where I'm like, I'm not even sure. I'm like, I think he's flirting. And I have to have like my friends go like, no, like, Javier, he's flirting with you. I'm like, no, he's not. He's just being nice. Like, no. He winked at you. He touched your hand. So it's funny because now I'm not even aware if they are or they're not. I am attracted to overweight people. I still find them very sexy. And I realized that it's not so much about the physical that I'm attracted to, it's more about the personality, which is a very cliche thing that everybody says. But in reality, people judge and are more attracted to the physical part than the personality. That's the first thing. It's like, is my dick hard? Did I get turned on? And I realized that the physical part can change. I mean, it took me a year and 5 months to change, so anybody can change. I can go fat again, doesn't matter. But I feel like the inner part's more important, because if you can't have that communication, then I feel like it makes that relationship even stronger. My body has changed a lot. First of all, strength-wise, I've improved since I started working out. Like, I'm able to pick up stuff that usually I would be too scared to do. I was afraid to do a lot of the heavy lifting because I knew that my knees were going to be weak because of so much weight that I'm carrying. So carrying plus another pound, that I was going to destroy my knees or my back. Physically, I feel like I've changed. Not too, drastic to the point where I'm like, oh, a different person. But I feel like my skin is the one that is changing and transforming every single day. For example, 2 months ago, I still had a lot more back fat, and now the back fat went front fat. So now my fat is like transferring to my front back. So I'm like, oh, I need to wear my Spanx, or else when I'm working out, my skin will jiggle. Another funny part that happened is I was at the jacuzzi and I was shirtless, and my skin just floated. It was really interesting. I'm just going like, oh, look. I've noticed that my feet got smaller, which is strange, like, because I used to wear a size bigger because I had wider feet. So now that my feet are more narrow, there's less one size smaller. So I didn't realize I had a jawline, which is very interesting. Some people are like, oh, your jawline. We're talking about like this chin, like that, and they're like, no, Javier, like there's actually a separation between your face and your neck. And another thing that I didn't realize I had was a booty. I guess when you're overweight or you're obese like I was, the back fat just covered everything up. So there was no emphasis on my butt. And now that I lost weight, I didn't realize I had a booty until my friend and I were hanging out, and I haven't seen her for like 5 months. And I'm walking, and she turns around and goes, "God damn, where'd you get that booty?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, and she's like, "No, Javier." So that for me has been the biggest change, is like embracing my booty. When I first started my process, I knew that the biggest obstacle that I was going to come across later in the future was going to be my skin. And I do want to consider skin removal. Not right now, though. I want to lose as much weight as I can. And once I lose the weight, build more muscle. I want to be able to have more muscle, so that way there's less fat, more muscle, and there's less danger during the procedure. And I say that now, but I feel like later on I'm gonna be comfortable with the skin that maybe I won't need it. But if I do, then I would consider it as one of the things I do plan for the future, and like trying to figure out how I can get that done. My sex life has changed completely. I've always been a very sexual person, and even when I was really big, obese, I still had a lot of sexual encounters. But I had to be more submissive. So I had to pleasure the guy rather than find pleasure with him. So I didn't find that much pleasure, but I would pleasure the guy, and I would they would be like turned on, but I wouldn't, and then that was one of the things that changed. And now I'm able to have like equal like pleasure, when before it was like, oh, I had to give more, because I always thought like, oh, either they're horny and they don't care about how I look, or I don't know why, just more of insecurities. My dick looks bigger, doesn't mean they got bigger. I do work those muscles more often, but it hasn't like, it's crazy because I've seen my dick. It's my dick. I grew up with my dick, but I've always been overweight my whole life. When I looked down, I couldn't see my dick. So I just realized like, oh, it's a mysterious thing that other people see that I can't see. And now it's like, oh, hello dick, there you are. So have I listened to the urban legend, the 35, you losing 35 pounds, you gain an inch? I haven't, really. But if I compare it, it means I would have lost, means I would have gained like 5 inches. Yeah, I would say like compared to how I was to now, yeah, I would say probably like 4 or 5 inches more. Um, but a lot of people don't realize that it's not like your dick got bigger. It's just that the fat around it's decreased. So when it's smaller, it like emphasizes the dick size. Um, I did so yeah. That has been a big change. Shirtless, I still haven't been comfortable to be the first one to take off my shirt. I still have sex with my shirt on. It's a whole skin. I'm still a little bit insecure about that. I've always been something I need to work with. I was against weight loss surgery. First of all, the cost. Second of all, I was scared to go under the knife. I feel like if you're that big, you put anesthesia, I could die. And really, I figured it was more of the easy route rather than like let me work for it. Looking back, I think there wasn't. It was more of a mask that I put myself, like undercover. I was undercover the whole time. Maybe the positive would be like I can complain about standing in line and get like cut in front of the line pass, or I don't fit in those seats, so they put me like closer to the stage, and maybe that was positive, I guess. But still putting myself in the like, oh, you're different, separating myself from the group um, at that. But I don't think there was that much positive. It's more of, it was like pain. I'm treated, my family and my friends still treat me the same. Honestly, they still judge me. I still get the complaints. But I do notice a change in the public. The public has been where I see most of my changes. My friends, I think, do talk about more about like fitness and goals, and I love it. I love that my friends are into the same things that I am, and they want a healthier life, not because of looks, because I mean looks comes with it, but more of like how you feel inside, like that security, like that confidence. It was so beautiful, so freaking sexy. And then my family, there's already like 2 or 3 that started walking more and started eating healthier. My mother actually lost 25 pounds without being on weight loss at all. Like she doesn't want to lose the weight, but because I changed the way she cooks, the way the food we bring is completely different than herself. Without even her trying, she's lost 25 pounds. So it's kind of interesting how just one person can change and affect other people around you. When people acknowledge my weight loss, at first makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. I feel like it usually happens like when I'm at a party or when I'm meeting somebody for the first time, and I don't want that to be my identity. Like, oh, you lost the weight, this is all I am, because it's not. It's part of me, but it's not who I am. And it's awkward because then all of a sudden I have to show the pictures, and then I get like the reactions, and then I start asking the questions, which is fine. I don't mind, but I feel that I'm distracting from like a birthday party. All of a sudden it becomes me, and I don't want it to be about me. I want to be about the person who we are celebrating. Or if we're with friends outside, like at the bar, I don't want to talk about my weight loss if I'm eating like McDonald's. Or like I'm in a restaurant with like my like new steak sandwich, like, yeah, I've lost this much weight. Like people look at me like, come on, fool. I am not defined by my weight, but it plays an important part of who I am. And I say that because your weight dictates how you feel. It makes you realize your strength and your weaknesses. If you feel comfortable in your own skin, then you pour out that energy that people can see you. Their perception of you is what people are seeing, and that's what changes throughout the whole journey. Even when I was really big, It's how I want people to see me and how truly they see me for real. And then now that I'm thinner, how do I want myself to be portrayed in a way? How I want people to see me. I still think like people will still see me. Maybe they'll go like, oh, like you're skinny, and I'm like, no, not yet, because they're seeing me skinny, but I still don't see myself skinny. I still consider myself chubby. What I would tell myself when I was younger, don't worry about what's going on. Just be yourself. When I was younger, I always wanted to lose the weight, not because of myself, because my mom was worried about it. I felt the pressure. I would feel the pressure by like the school and being made fun of. And so I would tell my younger self, you know what, relax. I would motivate myself, my younger self, to like change because I wanted to change, not because of other people. Yeah. Things I never said, and I always try to be as positive, is that it's fucking hard. It's not easy. Weight loss is not easy. It's not like there's a magic pill or like a meal plan and a trainer and boom, 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 freaking Cinderella, and you become this like thing. It's tough. Every day is a struggle. Every day I have to think of myself. And there's days where I want to give up. There's days where I'm like, fuck this. I want to eat that Snickers and I want to eat that double animal style and and I just have to realize, look how far you've come. Look at all the changes you've made. Javier, snap out of it. That's your old you talking. Pay attention to your new self. Like, how do you feel now? And so when I start thinking of, okay, how do I feel now? It makes those old feelings go away. But they're still there. They're like little demons, like the back of my head going, hey, come out and play. I am so thankful for the support system I have around me. My mom wakes up every morning and makes me my meal plans. She makes me my 5 meals a day. She puts them in the fridge for me. She understands I'm going to school and I'm working. And I love that if you can have that support around you, it not only does it make your job easier, it just makes you feel more powerful. It makes you feel more accountable. Like, okay, they're doing things that they normally wouldn't do for me to succeed. So when I do eat like the horrible meals, I'm like, I don't feel like I'm only feeling myself, I feel like I'm feeling the other people. And so having that like accountability with your friends and your family, it is really important. My future. My future, I don't know. And I say that with a big smile on my face. Before, I always worried about the future. There was a certain age I wanted to reach a milestone. Like, I wanted to purchase my first car before I hit 25. I wanted to own my own house before I'm 30, which is good goals. Now, that mentality changed for me. For me, my future is the now. My future's here. So, my hopes for the future is finish my career, get my BA, continue my weight loss. I want to be able to reach my goal. I want to be comfortable enough where I can take off my shirt at the beach and be like, yeah, look at me. But another thing I want to do, and I recently started thinking about it, is that I want to inspire kids. I want to work with more kids, but not just the diet. I want to focus more on the energy, and I want to focus on themselves, because I feel like we just label them as fat, and that's all we worry about. It's just the eating. Oh, you need to change eating, but we're not really changing the brain, how it works, how it functions, their tradition, their culture. We forget sometimes. We feel like it's easy, but if their family, like myself, is Mexican, and the way they show love is by cooking and eating, how can they fix that? I feel a little bit uncomfortable, but I just want to show you who I really am right now. As you can see, this is the aftermath. Oh, the skin. Well, here, if you notice, my boobies went down, so I'm starting to build a chest. My fat is all loose. I can actually pick it up. and like wiggle it. And then my back is kind of getting there. It's getting the shape. I still have more fat that I can fix. But even though this makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable, I don't see this as a negative thing. I call all of my loose skin my battle wounds. So this is just my battle wounds. And you can see, like, you can change. There's some muscle. Flex. That's who I am. It was so much fat that the dick actually went inside.